Good morning, everyone. I hope everyone is well and ready. Today, we're looking at fractions and we're also going to touch on multiplication and division. Um, yeah, we're looking at the fractions part, especially the representation of fractions. And then we're going to just touch on the other two parts because it still falls under the whole theme of test preparation. Your your test is available right now online, and we'll be doing corrections from uh from Thursday. So your test is available online. You can just go to the website of Africa Teen Geeks, and then from the website of Africa Teen links, and then after seeing the assessment links, you're just gonna click there on your grade. After clicking on your grade, then you click on maths, and after clicking on maths, it comes down your assessment there, your beautifully tailored assessment, and then you try it. And we're going to do corrections on Thursday. But with all that being said, I hope everyone is well and ready. As you can see, my Twitter handle and email address is still there, still the same, has not changed. So it is advisable to always have it. And I've also put in the website, which is www.africateengeeks.co.za. I have put the website in the chat. So today what we're looking at is common fractions, multiplication, and division. Right. And then we touched on this as we're starting now. We touched on this. As I said, the test is available. How it's going to work is that you take the test in your own time. So even after the class or when you guys have time, you take the test because the class time does not really allow us the freedom to actually we can't do informal things like your Kahoots and all of these things, but our class time does not allow us that freedom. What we are allowed to do actually is that you guys can just take the test, you try it on your own, and then we'll do the corrections. And then you're going to see especially how you should mark yourself. And then that would give you an idea to say that, oh, in actual fact, I am doing well, or in actual fact, I'm not doing so well. I'm struggling. And then it will also give you an idea on what concepts are problematic. Remember, we had this discussion and I asked you guys, what do you still find a problem? Then you said division. But sometimes it's not that division is a problem or the whole concept of division is a problem. Maybe you find out that sorry, wow, maybe you find out that you are not actually having the problem with it. Is just that you haven't actually set the idea in your mind completely. So you understand to say, maybe if we're doing long division, understand there's such a thing as dividing, there's such a thing as multiplying, there's such a thing as subtraction, there's such a thing as bringing down. But it's not set in stone yet in your mind. It's still as concepts that are far away from each other. So hence, therefore, it's very important that you try out the assessment and you see for yourself to say that, no, I'm actually understanding this, or actually, no, I'm not understanding this. Hence, you get to even contact me to say, sir, I'm lost. I tried this, it didn't work out. Can you please help? You know? So we once spoke about prime numbers, and I told you that prime numbers are numbers that can only be divided by one and themselves, right? Or numbers that are, that can only be divided by one and themselves. That means that those are prime numbers. 2, 3, 7, 11, etc. are prime numbers because they're only divisible by one and themselves. Then we spoke about factors, and I said factors are numbers that when you multiply a particular pair of numbers, they give you a particular number. So if you say you want the factors of 26, you're going to say 1 times 26 is 26. So 1 and 26 are factors of 26. If we go further along, we say 2 and 13. So 2 and 13 give us 26. So we're going to stay, and then we go along and then we think 3, there's no such thing with 3 that gives you 26. 4 as well. So that means you're only gonna have 1, 2, 13, and 26. That's how it works. That are what our factors are. Then we have multiples, and then multiples are just things that I said you count on. When you talk about multiples, it's like when you count on in the number. If I say 20 times 2, I'm asking what is 20 plus 20? And 20 plus 20 is 40. Or if I count on 20, 40, 60, like that. So multiples are just when you count on. Therefore, you've got the prime numbers, the factors, and the multiples. I know that this thing has been written down, and I trust that you have written it down. That's one thing I do hope and I trust that you have written it down. And yes, you can download the test after the lesson. So I'm just going to accept questions and then we move on right into our lesson. It's not very difficult today. So please take the time to understand and ask questions if you are lost. Good morning.
Hi, sir.
How are you?
I'm freezing.
I am extra cold myself. Let us.
So, sir,
Yes.
sir, why does mathematics go into different sorts of things? Why can't it just stay into one basic thing?
Why does mathematics go into?
Like it changes.
Because remember, if anything stays stagnant in life in general, if anything stays stagnant, it does not develop. And if anything does not develop, it does not allow for change. And if something does not allow for change, then it does not adapt. Because why? The world is forever changing. So it's important that we always change and we always learn new things so that we become adaptable. You see?
But so why as you go into higher grades, why does it get even harder? Because like let's say we are going to be in
what developing? Remember that one thing, we're developing, we're becoming smarter, we're becoming better people. And by developing and becoming smarter, better people, things have to become more challenging because we need to ask difficult questions. That's why it's always important to understand and be able to answer difficult questions. Remember that in life, if you find it hard to answer a difficult question, it means that you've met a challenge, and meeting a challenge is a good thing so that you start asking yourself, what is that you don't understand about life? That's why things need to become a bit more challenging so that your brain again adapts. And once you're able to adapt, you're able to change. I hope I've answered the question.
But sir, let's say you're in grade 8, you start with the XYs, multipliers, and
Yes. No, as I'm saying, that we learn to adapt, and we adapt so that this changing world does not affect us as it should be. But thank you for your question. Let me take the next one. Hello. Hello. No question. All right.
Hello, Sam.
How are you?
Fine, thanks. And you, Sam?
I'm excellent.
Sir, I have a question to ask you.
Yes.
Why when you're doing fractions, when you're doing fractions and you're doing division of fractions, you always need to put in after when you're doing multiplying of fractions, you always need to put in a division sign and then have to change it to a multiplication sign. Why do you have to do that?
Remember that a fraction of itself is division. You're already dividing you're already dividing as you're doing division of fraction. Like a fraction itself is a division itself. So we are saying if we had 1 over 4 and we write it in a linear form, it's 1 divided by 4. You understand? Hence, or most fractions or proper fractions give you decimals as answers. So we can't, it does not work for us to try and divide what is already being divided, right? So it's best to multiply to get that. And therefore, when to multiply, you then what we do is that you change one part of the fraction, because now once you change, remember in maths, as long as you're changing the operation, you're changing the sum as well. So the sum itself changes, and one side, the denominator becomes the numerator, and the numerator becomes the denominator.
Yes, sir.
Yes. I hope you answered.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Ah, beautiful. Thank you for the question. Hello.
Hello, sir.
Hello, how are you?
I'm fine, and you?
I'm excellent. You have a question?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Your question is?
So my question is, so factors never end, and prime numbers end.
Prime numbers never end. Factors end. Prime numbers never end.
Yes, sir. That was my
Prime
question.
number, you know, the other prime number that's about 5 digits, something thousand, something, I forgot. There's a prime number that has about 5 or 6 digits. Prime numbers never end.
Yes, sir. Thank
All
you.
right. All right. I think I've answered everyone, and everyone is happy. Let us get into the lesson. So,
Yeah.
so, when we look at fractions, fractions are representations. So when I say something is a representation, or I say a fraction is sometimes the numerical form of something that we're trying to represent, or a particular situation we're trying to represent. For example, let's say these are pies, right? So I've got pies over here, right? And all of these pies, I've cut them into 6 slices, right? Please write this down or take a screenshot of the screen you see now, right? And I want to write fractions for each of the full pies that I've not taken anything out of. My full fraction would be 6 over 6, to say that right now, for each of these pies here, they still complete, they still hold, so it's 6 over 6. But for one of them here, right, for this one over here, where's my cursor? But for this one over here, right over here, right, I've taken 1 away, so it becomes what? 5 over 6. But when I want to write it out as a fraction, I will write, look, 1, 2, 3 wholes, right? And then I just put this one here, my proper fraction, which is 5 over 6, because there's one piece missing that was going to make this actually 4 wholes. Then you're done. You're done. As one fraction, you also, yes, you do convert it into an improper, and yeah, as a fractional form, you do convert it to improper. But most of the time, it's best to write such a situation as what is the mixed fraction. Because the mixed fraction explains itself to say, we have 3 wholes, and then in one situation is that one piece is gone. So you've got 3 wholes, 5 over 6. You're done. That's it. That's it. Nothing more, nothing less. Nothing more, nothing challenging whatsoever. That's it. Nothing challenging at all. The main focus is to represent. The main focus is to represent. Are there questions? Are there any questions in terms of representation? Let me get. Hello.
Hello, Sam.
How are you?
Very cold, Sam.
I am freezing. I feel like I'm in a fridge. Do you have a question about the representation?
Yes, Sam.
Your question is?
Sir, so how come when you're writing a whole or a mixed fraction, you have to write a 3 or whatever number, and then you have to write the fraction?
Because remember, the fraction is not whole itself.
Yes, Sam.
6 is not a whole fraction. 5/6 is it's just a proper fraction. The numerator smaller than the denominator. Remember that if it was or everything was whole, we're going to say that we have 4 wholes, right? But we don't have 4 wholes. We have 3 wholes, 5/6. You understand?
Yes, Sam. Yes, sir.
The 5/6 is not, it's, remember that, look there. It's, why is it 5/6? One piece is missing. If that was pies, one piece is missing. If that was, you know, that bread that comes out as a circle. What is it called? That very nice bread. It's not garlic bread. I forgot its name. It's a very nice name. One piece of that is missing. If these were cakes, one piece of the cake is missing. You understand?
Yes,
Hence,
sir.
we just write 1. We say, look, we have 3 whole cakes, but 1 cake someone decided to come in and steal from us. So because it's not complete, it's not whole, we have to say it's 5/6.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
So, sir, when you say it in a fraction form, you say 23/6.
Yes, that's like to say now, when I want a numerator over a denominator, it becomes improper. Remember, all mixed are related to improper fractions.
Yes, sir.
When you just want a numerator over a denominator, especially when you're dealing with a mixed fraction, it becomes automatically improper.
Yes, sir. So, sir, why do you have to say 23/6?
Why? Because remember, when you're changing it into an improper fraction, right? For example, we're dealing with over 6, right? So we know that we have the denominator will stay the same, right? The denominator
Yes.
stays the same because we know that, look, we're dealing with 6. Then we say, what is 3 times 6? 3 times 6 is what?
3 times 6 is 23.
It's 18. Né?
18.
Yeah, 3 times 6 is 18. Then what is 18 plus 5?
18 plus 5 is, it's 23.
Then that's how you got it. So the denominator stays the same. It's just that when we do this, multiply the whole number times the denominator and add the numerator, we're actually finding the numerator of our improper fraction.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Are you fine?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Pleasure. I hope we have this down. I hope we've taken the screenshot if necessary. I hope we have it down. I hope we have the information down. Awesome. Next. Same story here. We've got 1 whole, and then we've got out of, like, we look 1, 2, 3. We're dealing with quarters, so it's 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then on one side we only have 1 piece, 1 shaded piece. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, which is 1 whole and 1/4. But as a whole, as a fraction part, we're gonna write 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 over 4. What's that? 5 pieces over 4. Right? And even when you convert it into improper, isn't it? You multiply with the denominator, you add the numerator. So you have 4 as my denominator already. Let me find out what my numerator is. 1 times 4 is 4, plus 1 is 5. Simple as that. Simple as that. Nothing challenging, nothing hard. Please have this down. Please have this down. Please have this down. As remember that fractions are dealing with representations. So once you have that in mind, you are off. You are off to another plane. Please have this down. Please write this down. Please write this down. Please have this down. I hope we've all written it down. I hope we've all written it down. I hope we've all written it down. I hope we're done. Please write in the chat if you're done so we can move on to the next example. So we can move on to the next example. So we can move on to the next example. I hope we are done. I hope we are done. Awesome. Awesome, 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 awesome. Yeah. As I say, when you represent the fractions, right? You write them all out. So if I represent, I'm now right. Someone asked me, please represent 3 over 8. I draw 8 blocks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Then I shade in 3. Same thing. I write 5 blocks. I write 8 blocks. I shade in 5. I draw 8 blocks. I shade in 7. That's all you do. That's how you represent it as a diagram as well. That's how you represent a fraction as a diagram. You draw. If over 8, because remember the denominator tells you how much or what are you dealing with, how many blocks are you dealing with, how many squares are you dealing with. And then the numerator tells you how many of that do you have. So out of the 8, how many do you have? If it was out of the 8 blocks, if 3 were taken, maybe they were shading for how many were taken, then you shade 3. If 5 were taken, you shade 5. It's like that. Simple as that. Simple as that. Nothing truly challenging. Nothing truly challenging. Nothing truly challenging. I've got another question.
Oh, sir,
Hello?
I don't have a question.
All right. So nothing truly challenging. Right. Are we done? Please tell me if you guys have this information so we can move right along. So we can move right along. I do want to touch on division and multiplication. I do want to touch on that as well as that. I do want to touch on that. So if you're done, please notify me in the chat that you're done. If you're done, please notify in the chat that you're done. Please notify in the chat if you're done. All right. Awesome. I think that was very easy to understand. So now, when we're dealing with multiplication, guys, of fractions, as I said earlier on, you do not divide a fraction, you multiply. There are only 3 things that we deal with fractions with. is addition, multiplication, and subtraction. Do not divide a fraction. I know that the question is, why is the operation there? Truly, yes. Sometimes, in maths, you find a situation that there's something that you're told that you do not do, but you do find it's sometimes being put there. It happens. But truly saying is that the division there is just for us to let us to know that in this equation here, we are going to change the structure of it. So the division as an operation is not there to be used, but there to alert us that we're going to change something. As we go along with this sum, we're going to change something. Hence, you see that they say 4 over 5 divided by 2 over 3. It means that we're going to change something. We're going to change the operation and then flip and change one fraction. After flipping and changing one fraction to say that 2 over 3 becomes 3 over 2, then we multiply. Numerator multiplies numerator, denominator multiplies denominator, and you get your final answer. That's the beauty about multiplication and division of fractions. You multiply numerator with numerator, denominator with denominator. That's all. Numerator with numerator, denominator with denominator, and life moves on. Life moves on. Let us go into examples. Let us go into examples. So please write this down. Please write down this information. I'll give you guys 2 minutes to write this down, this information. Please have down that information. The different steps. I'll give you guys 2 minutes to do it. Please have that information. Screenshot, or you can write down as well. Please have that information. Please ensure you have that information. Please ensure you have the information. First, you align the fractions, then you multiply numerator with numerator, denominator with denominator, then you simplify. Please ensure you have that information. Please quadruple ensure that you have that information. Awesome. I see a lot of people are done. Good. It's excellent. It's good. 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 It's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. 2 minutes remaining. Said that you have 2 minutes to do this. I said you have 2 minutes to do it. So you've got about 25 seconds. 25 seconds left. You have 25 seconds left. 10 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Right. So when we are multiplying fractions, right, we multiply the whole number multiplied by the denominator and we add the numerator. So it's the whole number multiplied by the denominator and add the numerator, right? So especially if we're looking at whole mixed fractions, but as you see here, 1 times 2 is 2, 3 times 5 is 15. That was very simple. Here, so what we do, we keep the denominators the same, right? So you keep the denominators the same. What are we trying to find out? Our numerators. So we say 3 times 2 is 6 plus 1, it's 7 over 2. And we say 4 times 5 is 20 plus 1 is 21 over 5. Then you multiply numerator, numerator, denominator, denominator. We have 147 divided by 10. And find out how many times does 10 go into 147? 14 times. And then write 7 over 10. Then we're done. It is simple as that. It is simple as that. Simple as that. Simple as that. Who is still busy with the last page? Who is still busy with the last slide? Who is still busy with the last slide? Because I said, guys, please use the technology. I beg you guys to please use the technology. And also to be quicker, because I want to touch on multiplication. I do want to touch on multiplication, right? I'm giving you guys now 2 minutes more to finish off this one. Please finish, guys, please. If not, then you'd have to wait for this to be put on YouTube, and then you get the information there. Please, guys. Please, 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 please. Because we need to go to multiplication and division, and time is not, we do not have time. We do not have time. We honestly do not have time. So you'll be just have to wait for us to upload it onto YouTube as we normally do and get the information from there. Or you can just ask me for the slides via email as well. And also, please, guys, another thing, write my email address before the class starts. As I always say, here is my email address. So please to write my email address before the class starts as well. Please write my email address before the class starts. Don't allow the class to start without writing my email address, please. Now I hope we are done. I hope we are done writing this information down, because we have to go to multiplication and division. I have, or you guys can see your paper. Confident enough to say that I have touched on multiplication, I have touched on division. They get it, the gist of it. Right, awesome. Now, please write down this information. Please write down that information as well. Since you guys are done, it's good. Please write down this information of multiplying the mixed fractions. Write down that information. Please write down that information. If you not screenshot, guys, I said screenshot. I've taught you guys already how to screenshot a long time ago. Please screenshot if you can screenshot. If you're writing and you know you're slow, rather screenshot. Rather take a 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 screenshot. Good. Good. Right. Are we done? Are we done writing down the information? Are we done writing down the information? Awesome. 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 Are we done having down the information? Good. Now, let's go and speak about the division part. So when we speak about division of fractions, same story. We convert this into fractions, so we can start here. We first change the sign. And after changing the sign, we change this fraction into this. So we change the sign into multiplication. Then we say denominator becomes numerator, numerator becomes denominator. So we've got 7 over 5 multiplied by 20 over 11. Then you just say numerator multiplied by numerator, denominator multiplied by denominator. We've got 140 over 55. Then we have 2. Then we simplify. We say how many times does 55 go into 140? It's twice. 2 times 55 is 110. What's left for me to get to 140? It's 30. Then I say 30 divided by 5 is 6. 55 divided by 5 is 11. And I'm done. I've got 2, 6 over 11. Same story here. I convert these into improper fractions. So I keep the denominators the same. And I say 7 times 5 plus 3. 7 times 5 is 35 plus 3 is 38. 3 times 2 is 6 plus 1 is 7 over 2. Then I change this into a multiplication. And then if I do that, I need to change this into, change the fraction on one side. So the numerator becomes a denominator, the denominator becomes a numerator. Then I've got 38 over 5 multiplied by 2 over 7. 38 times 2 is 76. 5 times 7 is 35. And I just simplify, it's 2, 6 over 35. Are there any questions in relation to that? It's simple. All you're doing is getting to the point where you're just going to multiply numerator with numerator, denominator with denominator. That's the part where you're moving to. It's very simple. It is very, very, very simple. All we're doing is moving to a part where we're multiplying numerator with numerator, denominator with denominator. It's very simple. Simple as it can be. Are there any questions in relation to this? It's simple. This thing is simple. Quite simple. Are there any questions? Hello?
Hello, sir.
Yes.
That part when it says 7 over 5 times 20 over 11. So, sir, you put the 20 on top.
Yes.
Oh.
You swap the numerator and the denominator.
Yes, sir. Thank you,
That's
sir.
all you're doing. All right. There are no questions. All right. Please write this down and notify me in the chat. Then we'll just talk about, I think we'll talk about multiplication for a bit, and then we're done with the class. So please write this down and notify me of your progress of writing it down in the chat if you are done. If you are done. Please notify me if you are done writing this in the chat. The link to your assessment is there right on the link is there on the chat as well. So the link to go to your assessment is there on the chat. You can have it there. So if you are done writing it down, please notify me so I can just speak on, I think, division a bit and multiplication a bit. Then we're done. Then you guys can prepare for your next class. Then we'll be done. 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 Right? Hello.
Sir,
Yes.
when are we writing the test?
So you go online, you download the test. Then
Yes, sir.
you
When?
write it on your own. Then on
Today.
yes, you write it on your own. Then on Thursday we're going to do corrections. You
Okay,
download
sir.
yourself. Then on Thursday we do corrections.
Thank you.
101,000,000,000% if there's such a number. Right. Right. I take that you're done writing. Let us talk about division. Guys, division is very simple. We follow a very simple process. Divide, multiply, subtract, bring down. Divide, multiply, subtract, bring down. We say 20 into 28 goes on times once. Why? 1 times 20 is 20. Remember, you're always going to be subtracting multiples of your divisor. So 1 times 20 is 20. 28 minus 20 is what? 8. I bring down the 8. 20 into 8, 88 goes on times 4 times. 4 times 20 is what? 80. 88 minus 80 is what? 8. I bring down the 6. 20 into 86 goes on times 4 times. Why? Because 86 is not a multiple of 20. So we have to go to the multiple, which is 80. 4 times 20 is what? 80. 86 minus 80 is 6. Divisor is small, remainder is smaller than divisor. That means my answer is correct and ready. So my final answer is 144, remainder 6. Answer is 144, remainder 6. That's all. That's all you do. That's all you do. Let me just also touch on multiplication. Right. So multiplication again as well. Say 44 multiplied by 90. 0 multiplied by 4 is 0. 0 multiplied by 4 is 0. Because this itself here is in the tens place, we're going to put 0 here as a placeholder. Once having 0 as a placeholder, let me say 90, let me say 9 times 4 is what? 36. So we put the 6 carry 3. Then we say 9 times 4 is 36 plus 3 is 39. Then we have our answer is what? 3,960. Added this to the zeros. I know that you guys didn't have time to write that information down. It's fine. The most important thing you must write down now is what? Is your homework. Are there any questions? Let me go for questions now. Do we have questions? Because time is no longer on our side. Guys, you have multiple videos on multiplication. You have multiple videos on division. You have multiple videos on every concept that we have covered. Please, if you still have a problem after watching all of those videos, after going through everything, after watching all of the videos and stuff, I've given you my email address. Please contact me. I've given you my email address. Please contact me. If you still find yourself lost, please contact me. We have gone through every single thing. There's a chance maybe you are still new to the class. Then yes, that's a different isolated matter. But if you've been here since we've been doing this, I've been doing this for some time. Please, if you are still lost, talk to me. I don't bite. I rather have, I want you guys to make sure you understand. I love questions, you know, I love interacting with you guys. So please, if you are still lost, tell me, and then we will find a way around it. I promise you. Questions, let me get the questions. Hello. Hello. All right. So it seems there are no questions. All right. Thank you guys so much for attending. Thank you guys for being superstars. Thank you guys for being a great class. I enjoyed the lesson thoroughly. We will see each other on the other side. Goodbye and enjoy the rest of your day. Bye-bye, everyone. Bye-bye.